In this strength and mobility workout, I'm working towards a handstand push-up and a one-arm pull-up while developing some middle splits flexibility. I'm working on some hip flexor flexibility, but I'm overcoming some golfer's elbow and also working out an imbalance from left to right side shoulder. I had a slap tear in my shoulders a couple of years ago, and I've noticed in my training lately that my right side is far stronger than my left side. So I'm doing a structural balance phase to overcome that. Now, I've actually got a pretty busy day today, so even though I do 2 workouts a day, what I'm doing is I normally do my handstand, locomotion, flow, hanging mobility workout in the morning, and then I do my strength and flexibility workout in the evening, but my priority is strength and flexibility. My priority goal this year is the handstand push-up and the one-arm pull-up, and so when I think about, like, if I can't do everything that I want to do in a day, I always front load my priority workout, which is my strength and flexibility workout. So that's what I'm doing today. It's 7:45 a.m. over here in Australia on Monday morning. And because I'm just not 100% sure, there's an alarm, not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to get both my workouts done today, what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I get my priority workout done. So that's my strength and flexibility. And I'm flying through the warm-up today for a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't have a lot of time today. Number two is that I'm also, the workout that I'm doing today, because it's a structural balance phase, and I'm going to be doing a dumbbell shoulder press today. Haven't done that for a while. I've been working on pike push-ups, and it's much safer than a pike push-up. I can just lift a lighter weight, so I don't need to spend as much time cranking my warm-up. I also deloaded yesterday. I didn't do any training. I just did a recovery day, and so my body's feeling pretty good. So I'm just going to fly through just a little bit of, my lower back still feels a bit stiff and my hip flexors feel stiff. That's pretty normal for me though, because I've got spondylolisthesis in L4 and L5. So I always wake up, like when I do a recovery day or a rest day, the next day my lower back's always really stiff. It's just really normal because I didn't get much movement the day before. That's what happens when you have spondylolisthesis. Motion is lotion. So the longer you don't work out for, the longer you don't train for, the more stiff everything gets. At least that's how it works for me. So I'll just do this last little bit of foam rolling. I always do thoracic extension. This is one of the best exercises you can do for your upper back for bad posture. If you want to ever be able to unlock like back bridges and good handstands, it's really good for shoulder flexibility as well. All right, so now I'll just reshuffle the camera so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to be doing some shoulder flexibility now. Not flexibility, actually, I should say, some warm-up. So this is like one of my go-to shoulder warm-up exercises because it takes the shoulders through full range of motion when it comes to shoulder flexion, but under load and on a load that really challenges the rotator cuff, because the rotator cuff, its primary role is through isometric contraction to keep the humerus in the glenohumeral joint sitting where it's meant to sit. And so by doing that, you get those rotator cuffs really working through that range of motion, you know, to prevent this kind of movement, and really wakens it up and gets it ready for the workout. Tiny little bit of this body blade. This is a really good way to warm that shoulder up as well. And just get that rotator cuff doing its thing. I'm so much better on my right side than my left side, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this structural balance phase. You can see it's so much harder for me to control this on my left side. I have to really think about it. Whereas on my right side, it just happens really easily. So You know, when you have these imbalances in your body, these are things that really need to be taken care of. This is what we do in phase 1 to 3 of the UMS. A lot of people join the UMS and they want to go straight to the more advanced phases, but the real magic, like some of the biggest changes that happen for people, are in a structural balance phase, and we take care of that in 3 phases in the UMS, where we use progressive overload from phase 1 to phase 2 and phase 3. Really working on structural balance, so working out these imbalances from left side to right side, imbalances from pushing and pulling muscles, imbalances from inner and outer unit. So this is a real imbalance in my inner unit on the left side, the stabilization system. That's what is really working here. And it's a real ball ache trying to get my left side to be as good as my right side with this. So, there we go, that's enough. Okay, so now I'm going to go straight into my shoulder pressing. And I do it like a 4-3-2-1 warm-up, or not, actually on this kind of weight, I'll probably just do a 4-2-1. So what that means is, I do the exact exercise that I'm going to do, 4 reps of a weight that is roughly 50% of what I'm actually going to lift. Okay, so that's roughly 50%. I intend to lift 20 kilograms or 44 pounds in each hand on my first set. I might just change the angle of this so you can see me better. And then I'll do 2 reps at roughly 75%. So I haven't done shoulder press for so long, I really don't know what I'm going to be able to lift, but I plan to start on 20 kilos. But by doing a warm-up like this, I can feel if this is going to be too much or too little, or and you're just warming up really safely. And so now I'll go to the weight that I intend to lift. Now for people that are less experienced than me, I recommend a 4-3-2-1 warm-up. So I would have done 3 reps at 15, then 2 reps at 17, and then 1 at 20. And that is why I do it, because that does feel too challenging for me. So what I'll do is I'll probably open on 17s, and that warm-up gave me the opportunity to safely see, is this weight enough? Is it too much? Is it too little? So I'll start on 17 and we'll see how I go. For my pull-ups, I'm going to be doing a neutral grip using these Kensoi tools, and these are incredible. I reached out to these guys to see if I could try these, and I'm so impressed with them. This is going to be my second workout using them, so there's a link in the description if you want one, and I've got a code where you can get a discount. And the reason why these are so good when you've got golfer's elbow is inflammation in the tendons of the medial epicondyle for wrist flexion, okay? And so when you use something like this, it really deloads that wrist flexion, and it allows me to put more of the load into the biceps and into the lats and the trapezius and all the muscles that, you know, create pulling in the shoulder. So check this out, this is really cool. That's enough for a warm-up set, so now I'll get into my shoulder press. All right, so I've decided I'm going to do what I tell everybody else to do. I'm going to leave my ego at the door, and I'm going to just do 15 kilos for my first set, because, you know, I got a tiny bit of inflammation in that right shoulder in my last workout, which is why I'm doing this, and I'm not going to ego lift now. Okay, that felt good. So I will go up to 17 and a half on my next set. But that was good. It's safe. It's the way you want to start when you're doing something new. Okay, so straight into my hip flexor stretch. I'm actually going to play around with the hero stretch as well in this program phase. So what I'll do, I'll just do one set of the couch stretch to warm up, and then I'll do the hero stretch next. Hero stretch is way more intense, and the couch stretch is definitely better for people that are, trying to get their first breakthrough with hip flexor flexibility. But I just want to mix things up a little bit for a little while. Hip flexors and glutes for external rotation are the tightest part of my hips. So my hamstrings are okay, my adductors are okay. My hip flexors are really tight because of, maybe they're not tight compared to somebody who's not flexible, but compared to other areas of my lower body, they're tight. So I have to do more work on them. It's because of my spondylolisthesis, which creates an anterior pelvic tilt, and I've also got femoral acetabular impingement, and all those things combined means really tight hip flexors. Means I'm fighting an anterior pelvic tilt all the time. I'm working to do the best I can to reduce the symptoms. Those things are very cool. Very happy with them. Well done, Kensoi. All right, let's try out these 17s. Let's see how I go. All right, that felt good. So I could definitely go up in weight, but just because I've got this inflammation in my right shoulder, it feels a bit uneasy, so I'm just going to stay on that. So many people go wrong with, dealing with injuries is that they just don't understand how you can regress your training and really overcome most niggling injuries within a matter of a week or two. Like, you really can. If you go, okay, I've strained a muscle here, I did something that was a little bit too much for me in that last workout. Next couple of workouts, I'm going to make adjustments, reduce the load, reduce the intensity of my training to allow that muscle to keep training at a level that's safe for it so it can adapt and repair, as opposed to rest. Rest doesn't fix muscle tears well and strains, or B, just trying to push through it, which can end disastrously. I am very, very happy with those Kensoi things. I'll look them up quickly and remind myself what they're called. They're really allowing me to you know, to get a really good workout, a really good few sets of pull-ups in without, let's see what they're called again, without aggravating my golfer's elbow. It's really allowing me to deload and do it, which is, you know, just incredible. It's a huge win for me. What are they called? They're called Swissies V2. Swissies V2, yeah. I'll put a link in the description for them. They're really, really good. Highly recommend them. I don't promote stuff on my channel that I don't personally use. I get approached all the time by companies to promote their stuff, and I don't. I just don't promote things that I don't use myself. I don't want to be that kind of a YouTuber, you know. So these are awesome if you're suffering with anything like that, or if you even just want a way to be able to deload a pull-up. Like if you want to be able to do supersets, for example, and you max out doing like 8 or 10 reps, and then you can't do any more and you rest for 10 or 15 seconds, throw those on, you'll be able to do a few more. Or if you're trying to break through strength plateaus, if you can only do 1 or 2 pull-ups, you can use hybrid sets, so you do like 1 or 2, you know, supinated or pronated grip, whatever, and then rest for 10 seconds and then do a few more with those Swissies. It'll really help. All right, here we go. I think I will try 20 on this set because I did feel good in that last set, and I don't want to rob myself of strength potential. And you've seen, you know, this is what I recommend your first workout would be like after you've done a little muscle strain like what I did, and recognized an imbalance. You just want to be safe and progressive. Nice. Man, it's been a while since I've done shoulder press. As always, I'm timing my rest periods because I don't want to blow out my workout time. So people that are good at this, they can just lay their back flat on the ground. And I can do that, but I get, because my hip flexors aren't flexible enough for it, too much of the curve comes from my spine. That's not good. There's always a way that you can regress exercises and do the version that's right for you. So try to avoid the pitfall of like copying YouTubers and, you know, follow a program that's written for you. That's why working with a coach is so valuable. All right. Whoop. I always train antagonistic movements in the same workout. So I know a lot of people don't understand this concept. So this is called a vertical push pattern. This is called a vertical pull pattern. The muscles that do those two movements are antagonistic to each other, which means they do opposing things. So when the muscles that are actively pushing are contracting, the muscles that are pulling are relaxing. And when you don't train antagonistic muscles and movements in your body in pretty close to a 1-to-1 ratio, you create imbalances in joints. And an interesting thing is, a good friend of mine, Sebastian Oreb, aka Australian strength coach, the strongest people in the world go to him to get stronger. Like literally, he trained Hafthor Bjornsson to get the world record deadlift and to win all three of the world's strongest men, Europe's strongest man, world's strongest man, and whatever, the Arnold's strongest man. It was Sebastian that trained him through that period. And he used to be a coach at my gym. And we were talking one day on one of our podcasts about what he does when people come to improve their bench. And the first thing he does is to get them to do bent over rows. And when they do rows and they create structural balance in their shoulders, their bench press goes up by like 20 or 40 kilos, like that, he reckons. So structural balance is very, very important. All right, let's get this last set done. Shoulder press. Okay, that was good. So, and I like to do structural balance in a 1-to-1 ratio, mostly for efficiency. Because, like, if I want to produce maximal effort on my shoulder press, you really need to rest like 3, maybe 4 minutes for maximal effort. If you rest like 2 minutes, you'll see a pretty decent like reduction in strength potential from set to set. And so if I rest for 2 minutes and then do a set of pull-ups, the antagonistic movement, rest for 2 minutes and then a set of shoulder press again, in the same amount of time that it would have taken me to get, you know, my sets of just my sets of shoulder press with a 3 or 4 minute rest, I'm getting both exercises done. And also you'll notice that the offset of strength is reduced when you do antagonistic movements like this because of the way that the nervous system contracts muscles on both sides. Like you might do, say if I'm doing 8 pull-ups, if I was just doing straight sets, so set of pull-ups, rest, set of pull-ups, rest, set of pull-ups, rest, I might see like 8 reps in the first set, 7 in the second set, 6 in the third set, and 5 or something in the fourth set. But by doing alternating sets like this, I can maintain 8 reps for, you know, the whole 4 sets. Well, let's see if I can. I'll go and do my 4th set now. I'll try and get these things even because I'm a bit of a stickler. Oh God, same mistake as last time. What a douchebag. Whew. All right. And my golfer's elbow doesn't feel worse. All right, so now I'm into my first set of supplementaries, and I'm really working on an imbalance in my deltoids here. I haven't done lateral raises, man, in years. But imbalance in my deltoids, I've got to do it. So here we go. I wonder if this will be too light. Let's see if I can do 7.5. The first set, when you're doing an exercise you haven't done for a while, it's always like, did I get the weight right? Didn't I get it right? No, that's going to be too heavy. I might try smack bang in the middle. And that's what I've got these wrist weights for. Because my weights go up in 2.5 kilo increments or 5 pound increments, I guess, 5 pound, 5.5 pounds, something like that. So these are 1 kilo, 2.2 kg wrist weights. So I can go from 5 kilo to 6 kilo instead of from 5 to 7.5. gonna do 2 more on my really weak side, just for a tiny bit of extra volume. And I would never do that for more than 4 weeks. In fact, I would never do that for more than 4 weeks out of a whole year, because it creates other imbalances. But I'm happy to work with that for, I'll just keep these on, for this phase, just to give myself a tiny bit more volume on the side that I'm trying to balance out with the other side. I cannot say this enough. I do not recommend anybody do more reps on one side than the other unless you really know what you're doing and you understand how it fits in. Only, like, yeah, I wouldn't recommend you do it. I'm very experienced in what I'm doing, and I know how my body works much better than the average person. So I'm going to do that for literally 4 weeks, and it's only going to be one exercise out of my whole workout. Yeah, for most people, and when I mean most, I mean like 99 out of 100, just doing unilateral movements, which is what I'm doing in this workout. So you're using dumbbells instead of barbells. That is enough to work out most structural imbalances. So I'm tensing my butt here for 5 seconds, then relaxing, just to create an end range antagonist contraction. Which helps to hack the nervous system and get you deeper in the stretch. Okay, I've got to record my reps, or I'll forget what I did. And I did 6 kilos, not 5. Okay, and then I did 15 there, and I did about 40 seconds. That'll do. Okay. All right. So you can see I really go from like one exercise straight to the next to be as efficient as possible. Okay, so I won't even do an extra rep on my weak side there, because I achieved what the goal is, where I failed on the weak arm, but I didn't fail on the strong arm in the rep range that I was doing. So my weak arm, I couldn't have done more reps, but my strong arm, I could have done another couple. And that, just training to your weak side, will work out the structural imbalance. So, very important. I only did those extra reps on the first set because I felt like I could do a couple more. Okay. Oh, there's a mozzie in here. He's going to pester me for my whole workout if I don't get him. Okay. So when you want to get strong and flexible, efficiency is so important. Like if you want real change in your body, not just like, I'm a little bit stronger and I can touch my toes now. Like if you're somebody like me who's really, really passionate about objective results, like, real muscle growth, big strength improvements, big flexibility improvements, then there's a certain amount of volume that you need to do in each week to grow muscle, to get stronger, to get more flexible. And, the best way to do it, I shouldn't even say the best way, a good way to do it is to do 2 separate workouts. It allows you to focus on strength, all your energy, all your thought, or focus on flexibility. But who has time for 2 workouts unless you're me and you're a fitness professional who runs a business and works out at home, so I don't have to travel to the gym, and my business is making fitness videos so I can, make my workouts a part of my working day. But if you're not that person, and if you've got a family and a job, good luck doing 2 workouts a day long term. And if you can't do it long term, it's not going to last. It's only ever going to be a short sprint that you get, a result that you'll then lose. So it's really, really important to approach your training in a way where you're looking at it like, can I do this forever? Can I do this for the rest of my life? And if you can't do it forever, then I wouldn't bother even starting. It's just not worth it. Because what you're going to do is you're going to get a result that you'll lose, and that'll be really disappointing. So it's much smarter to work out in a way where you're like, I could do this forever, I can maintain this. And you might not be getting the results as quickly as if you were doing 2 workouts a day or doing that crazy program for 12 weeks or whatever. But you chip away, and every month you get better. Every year you get significantly better. And then the older you get, the better you get. And that's the way to train, if you ask me. And for all of that, that's why in the UMS, or Unified Movement System, if you're new to my channel, that's why we do strength and flexibility in the same workout, so you can maintain it for life. And if you want to know why I'm stopping there and not going all the way down, it's because down here my deltoids are deloaded. The deltoids aren't doing anything here. Here, they're still working. So I'm trying to keep constant tension in the deltoids for maximum muscle growth. Maximum muscle growth, we want time under tension. We want the muscles to be contracting the whole way through the set. Okay, last set of butterfly stretch, and then I'll move on. Okay, nice work. All right, so now I'm just going to do a little bit of chest and bent over lateral raise. So again, antagonistic movements, and just really, I'm mostly doing this for my posterior deltoid, and then balancing it out with a bit of antagonistic movement as well. And I'm going quite light on my flies because it was the anterior part of my shoulder that had a strain last week. So this is light for me, but still working the muscles. And by using this D-roller and going as low as I go, I'm also working flexibility in the chest because that's a loaded stretch down at the bottom. And I only come up to here so that I maintain tension in the pecs. Because if I go to here, the pecs deload and the weight goes down into my shoulder more. So it's more rotator cuff working there. But here, that's still pecs working. Okay. So I'm not sure how much weight I'm going to be able to do here. I think 7.5 is going to be too much, but I'm going to try it. We'll just see, even if they're a bit messy. At this stage of the workout, I don't mind too much. Nah, it's a bit too much. I just can't control it nicely. And I'm all about the good technique. I don't want sloppy reps. I don't want to be doing like mechanical drop sets, which is where your body just like rips it around to get the weight up however it can, which doesn't target the muscles that you're trying to target properly. So 7.5 kilos down to 6 kilos. Much better. I forgot about my eccentrics. I should have done slower eccentrics. But that's okay. So, get in here, record my reps and weight. 10 kilos, 10 reps, bang. 6 kilos, about 10 reps. Even though I split it up, it's okay. All right. I don't need as much rest on these exercises, on these supplementaries, as I'm not maxing out. When you're newer to working out, it's called a younger training age. So your training age is how long you've been working out for consistently. So if you started working out 20 years ago, stopped 5 years ago, and then started working out again 3 months ago, your training age is 3 months. Because even though you have the mental know-how of how to do things, your body, your body's only really adapted to that last 3 months effectively. So I've got a pretty old training age. I've been training for a long time consistently, I guess. And it's also training in this style of training. I was just about to say I've been training for 25 years, but my 10 years of martial arts doesn't count to this. Training like this, I've been training for about 10 years. So 10-year training age. All right, here we go. So the reason I said all of that is that the younger your training age, the better you respond to simplicity. The older your training age, the better you respond to complexity. So somebody who's new to working out, probably less than 12 months training age, this workout will be too much for you. There's too much complexity, too many different movements, too many changes. You get a better result. You get a better result from just doing straight sets of, or alternating sets of 2 exercises, like literally, So earlier on, So we keep things really simple for that first 3 months. We just do 2 exercises, primaries, in the UMS, and then we do a supplementary circuit with 2, maybe 3 exercises. But it all gets done in 60 minutes. But as your training age increases, you need to add more complexity to your workouts to keep forcing adaptation, because you plateau, you get used to those less complex exercises. You know, a beginner in 30 days can get about a 30% increase in strength in everything just from doing push-ups or just from doing squats. It's just the nervous system response to doing strength training. So when you're new, keep it simple. Follow a nice, simple, structured program. Oh, I did 9 then, didn't I? Okay. All right. See, it was harder when I did that slow eccentric on the bent over lateral raise. The eccentric loading is where the majority of the damage to the muscle fibers occurs that produces hypertrophy. Look, in all honesty, the research is changing all the time. They're telling us now that you can go to failure even on low reps, high weight, and still get hypertrophy. I'm sure you can. But I'm also sure that there's a reason why Mr. Olympia athletes do controlled tempo, high reps, all that stuff. Okay. So this feels really good, you know. My shoulder where I did a muscle strain. You can see me do it. If you watch my, what would it be? Day 12 workout. Right at the start, in the second set, you see me when I go, oh, and I stop. Was when I got the spasm. Or maybe a micro tear, maybe it's a small muscle tear, probably more accurately said. And you see me do it, and I go, ooh, and I stop and I try again, I go, oh no, I'm gonna have to stop. So go and watch that video, you can check it out. Day 12 of my programming. Day 12, day 30, yeah it was. Yeah. But yeah, so I've made these changes, got rid of the pike push-up, because that was what caused the tear, and what, you know, it's a bilateral movement. It's high intensity, very challenging. So I've modified my workout to be doing unilateral movements using weights, because weights obviously much easier to choose the correct weight than with calisthenics. And it feels really good. Come on. Come on. All right, good one. So I'm doing neutral grip to deload the golfer's elbow, but the funny thing about neutral grip is that it overloads, well, it starts to load up your supinators, and you start to feel it here. And I have to be careful because I've had tennis elbow before and I was feeling it there. So I'm weighing up whether I want to risk inflaming this in favor of protecting that. But what I think I might do is I might just drop the weight and try and do some neutral grip, because I haven't done neutral grip in ages. And so there is an adaptation there that's waiting to happen that I can work through. Maybe I can get away with it with a neutral grip. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Here we go. No, not that one. Yes. 12 and a half. All right. Let's see how this holds out. Because the thing is, if you would dodge the parts of your body that need work, it's just an injury waiting to happen. And what's much smarter is work through those weak areas and choose a load that matches the weak link. So I've gone down in weight here, and I can feel for my right arm, it's almost nothing challenging happening at all. But on my left arm, I'm really feeling it. And that's the weak side. So that's much smarter, to be training my weakness rather than training my strength. So that was good. And I could still really feel it. You know, an adaptation occurs, you know, over weeks and months, not over days and weeks. You know, in my experience, like, minimum time for adaptation to occur is like 2 weeks, and that's rare that happens. That's like neuromuscular adaptation, not muscular adaptation, not growth. But the nervous system can have an adaptation in 2 weeks. So usually I do 4-week program phases. 4 weeks is a really good time to achieve adaptation before you plateau, because if you go too long, you'll plateau. But it's also not so long that people get really bored, because 6-week cycles are also really useful. But people get bored after 4 weeks, and you need to keep your mind stimulated. Yeah, this is good. This is going to be good for me. I can feel that. And the whole purpose of me doing this and backing off from doing the calisthenics work at the moment for the handstand push-ups is to work out these imbalances, because these imbalances, they're only going to get worse if you don't deal with them. If you dodge them and you go, oh, I feel that if I do that, so I'll just do it this way, and I'll never touch that thing that, you know, causes me to feel this feeling of tennis elbow, then the weakness that's there, that's incapable of handling that load, it just gets weaker while everything else gets stronger. This is why structural balance training is so, so important. Don't skip it. And the longer you've been training for, the more important this stuff is. Look at me, I've got a training age of, as I said before, 10 years training like this. And here I am doing a structural balance program. You know, when my goals are to hit the handstand push-up and the one-arm pull-up this year. But there's no way I could do like one-arm work when I've got golfer's elbow or tennis elbow hanging around. See, that left arm is getting its butt kicked, but the right arm is just cruising. So much reason to do this. And you get through it, you know. I'm just plodding along, just doing set for set. Just enjoying the process. You can really nerd out on the process if you just detach from the goal and focus on getting it done. And I'm lifting, you can see I'm lifting sub-maximally here so I can talk. If I was lifting maximal load, I wouldn't be able to talk like this, but maximal load is not what my body needs right now. I need sub-maximal load regularly so that I can adapt to it. All right, so shoulder conditioning. This is my first set. Of course, I just filmed the whole first set without my microphone on. Oh. Man, my hands are getting smashed at the moment. I'm starting to get a blister inside my thumb now. It's all good. It's all part of the adaptation process. Whew. All right, so now I'm doing grip crushing. And fun facts about grip crushing is that I've heard top gymnastics coaches and top weightlifting coaches alike both claim that increases in grip strength and core strength will have an increase in strength over the whole body. So get stronger grip, stronger core, you'll be doing more pull-ups. You'll be doing more weight on an Olympic clean and jerk. You'll be doing more reps of press to handstand in a workout. So if coaches from such differing sports at elite levels are saying that, I think it's a good idea for the rest of us to pay attention. So let's see, my left side's so much weaker than my right, but I got 6 reps on my last set. See if I can do it again. Okay, and one eccentric to force some adaptation. Okay, 6 reps was good. Reps only count if you close the captains of crush, the grip crushes. Watch how much easier it is on my right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could easily do, I don't know, another 2 or 3. But that's how you work out the imbalances. You train the weak side first, and then you train the strong side with the same amount of reps. And sometimes do like 1 eccentric rep on the weak side to force adaptation and progression. And I'm going to work up to being able to do probably 3 sets of 8 reps. And then I'll do some holds where I just hold it for 30 seconds. I'll do that for a phase. And then I'll go up to the next level of grip crushes. And these are the antagonistic movements. So the opposing movement to grip crushing is a finger extension. And you can get these in a set. They're made by Iron Mind, Captains of Crush and Expand Your Hands. There's a link in the description if you want to get them. They're really good. Of course they expand your hands. Of course it's just a rubber band. Of course it is. But when you get the set, you get all 9 rubber bands. They're all different thicknesses, and it's really, really good because you can use progressive overload, just like lifting weights. And in my opinion, when people say, oh, those are just rubber bands, I could say, yeah, but you know, that's just like lifting a heavy brick, picking up a dumbbell, you know. Of course, you could just go and get a brick and do weight, but you can't get incremental increases in your weight with bricks like you can with dumbbells. And exactly the same things with the expand your hands, because they come in 9 different thicknesses. You can choose the right one for you. Okay, here we go, last one. Oh, my left arm feels like it's had a really good workout. My left shoulder and my left arm, which is really good. That's what I want. I want this workout that's going to sort out these imbalances. All right, I'll try and get this last set done, and really hope I can get another 6 reps on my left side, because 6 is a good improvement for me. When I started doing this, I could barely do probably 3 good reps, and a good rep is where you close the grip crushes so they kink and touch together. And by the way, these are way harder than I anticipated when I got mine. There's a 1, but then they go up in 0.5 increments up to 4. Apparently there's only a couple of people in the world that can close a 4. But then there's a whole bunch of them below 1. There's a 0.5, then there's a trainer, and then there's something else. This is a 0.5, 0.5. So this is like the 3rd one up. When I first got them, because I've done so much grip training and strength work for my hands in Kung Fu, that I got a 1.5, and I couldn't even close it on my strong side, and I could barely do like that with it on my weak side. It was so much too hard for me. And it made me really realize the strength imbalances from left to right, because in Kung Fu I did so much sword work. I was swinging a sword around all the time that my right arm got really strong and my left arm didn't. So I'm paying for that now. Anyway, so when you get them, don't make the mistake that I did and go straight for a heavy one. I wouldn't go higher than a 0.5 when you start with, personally. And that depends on how strong you are. You might want to go just the trainer. 1, 2. And then 1 eccentric. And then let's look at how much easier it is on the strong side. And that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. You know, got to work out that imbalance. Can't just keep going through life with imbalances. And, you know, what happened if you watch my workout from Friday, day 12 of this video series, day 12 of 2024, you can see when I do this muscle strain or muscle tear, and that's just, it's an immediate wake-up call. It's an immediate realization of, wow, okay, there's an imbalance in my body. I could feel it. I could feel that my right arm was doing all the work and my left arm wasn't able to contribute enough. So it overloaded the strong side, and that's where the tear happened. And you have to address that stuff. You can't just go, oh, I'm just going to keep going, you know. I did that in the past, and man, I paid for it. Paid for it so hard with injuries. Okay, so now I'm onto my golfer's elbow specific exercises. So these are the exercises specific for my golfer's elbow. All right. And this is just for structural balance, you know, in the structural balance in the wrist. So what did I do? 10 kilos, and I did 12 reps today. Now I'm doing 5 kilos. So yeah, opposing movement to wrist flexion is wrist extension. So structural balance. And that, it's not working the supinators, but working, you know, the muscles on the lateral side of my forearm. So it's helping to alleviate the potential tennis elbow, which I don't have, but I can feel it like maybe going to come through soon in the background. So what I'm going to do, I am going to do some supination today, and then pronation to offset it, you know, for structural balance. And, you know, with these two exercises, like just a quick little 20 or 30 second break, like what I just did, I'm not lifting maximally. It's right at the end of the workout. I don't mind if I can't get maximal load, as long as I'm lifting with intention, as long as I'm giving these muscles some stimulus, as long as I'm, you know, being intentional with my end ranges. That's most important. Come on. Come on. Oh, oh, that's a deep burn. Oh, man. Oh, my forearms are on fire. Okay. Oh. Woo! Oh, man, I'm really feeling that. In a good way. But just like maximal fatigue, you know. And you can see like the order of needs, like the hierarchy of my workout. Like you start with the compound lifts, most important to do those first. And then I move into supplementary lifts, isolated work, working on the things that I want to hit the most. So I really want to get my deltoids. I want to get this imbalance working out. So I did a lateral raise, and then I moved into some chest fly and bent over lateral raise, and then moving down the hierarchy of needs, but still important, biceps and triceps, then the rotator cuff work and the grip crushing, and then finally the wrist flexion and extension, because you can, like, when your body's really cooked, you can still do wrist flexion and extension. One more set, and then I'll do some pronation and supination with my magic rake. I use a rake for pronation and supination because it's the best tool. Okay. Okay, here we go. Last set. Come on. Oh, oh, that was a deep burn. Oh, everything's cooked. Okay. All right, come on, baby. One more set. Come on. Oh, man. I'm really just busting it out at this point. I'm going to just fly through this pronation and supination. I'm not going to worry too much about eccentrics because anything is better than nothing, and I'm just cooked now, so I'm just going to get some reps done. So a rake or a broom or whatever is really, really good because you can, you know, this is your where the weight is, and just by moving your hand further away from the rake at the end makes it harder. So you can really easily choose how difficult this is for you. And you got to grip really tight. Okay, that'll do. And you've got to make sure that you don't have a kink in your wrist there, so you can't be like that. You got to be like that. Keep the elbow still. So tennis elbow is a lack of, it's inflammation in the tendons in the supinators, so the tendons of the muscles that do that. I'm pretty sure anyway, I remember that's what Phil told me, my physio friend. Okay, and then for structural balance, we do the pronators. And I'm actually standing on a hill here, just so that actually I don't need to be, so that the rake doesn't hit the ground, but a part of why I'm standing here is because the roof is much higher, so I don't hit the roof. And you can see what I do, I just go from pronation to supination, so now I'm doing my supinators again. And then when I change to the other side, I'm resting this arm. And then when I do the pronators, I'm resting the supinators. So by the time I get back to it, so you don't need to rest. You can just literally go from one arm to the other. And I can really feel this. I can feel that there's a weakness here. So this is a real stitch in time for me. I felt it. I was like, ooh, that's gonna come and get me soon. That's the feeling of that's gonna turn into tennis elbow if I don't deal with that. Because that's what tennis elbow and golfer's elbow are. It's an inflammation in the tendons on the medial epicondyle, golfer's elbow, or the lateral epicondyle, tennis elbow. And it comes from a lack of load tolerance, so a lack of strength. So to fix golfer's and tennis elbow, you've got to make those tendons stronger. Rest will not fix this injury at all. And so you can prevent it from coming on by doing this, which is why anybody that's done the UMS phase 1 to 3 will know we do this in phase 1 to 3, and we do this to prepare you so that you don't get golfer's elbow and tennis elbow. That's what a good preparation program will do. 3 phases of preparation training. So if you want to do a customized preparation program, something that's customized to your schedule and your ability and your training age, come and join the UMS Tribe membership. Try a 30-day free trial. Just go to unitygym.com and get on it. Turn your weaknesses into your strengths. Overcome all the common issues in your body, like golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, like shoulder injuries, labrum tears, rotator cuff tears, lower back injuries, knee pain, knee injuries, hip injuries, all of it. All right, last one. So this is really good because now it's morning. I've got my primary workout for today done. My priority workout, I should say. So if I've got time this afternoon, I'll do my handstands and hanging and flow and everything. We'll see how it goes with time. Come on. 6. People ask all the time on my YouTube videos, what exercise do I need to do to fix this? And the truth is, it's not one exercise. There's an exercise that'll work for you now, but then in 4 weeks you need a new exercise. There isn't just one exercise that you'll be able to do for the next 12 months that's going to fix your problems. It's periodization, changing your programming every 4 weeks to achieve adaptation. And if you watch these workouts of mine for long enough, you'll see the way that I periodize all the time. But periodization for me is very different to periodization for you. Because unless you're exactly where I'm at with my training, and you have the exact same issues as I'm dealing with in my body, then your program will look different to mine. You won't have the same exercise. Some of the exercises might be the same, but they won't all be the same, because you've got issues that are unique to you. And maybe not. Maybe you've got the exact same issues as I do. But then even still, unless you've got the same training age as me, it'll be a different amount of volume and it'll be different intensities than what I'm using. So be less concerned about finding the magic exercise that you don't know yet, and be more concerned about finding a process, a programming process that you can follow and adapt with. So this is so much easier for me on my right side. I'm really on the right track here doing this structural balance phase to get this left arm up. And I can feel it, man. I can feel like I've had a really good workout on my left arm, and my right arm just feels like, it's a bit of a workout. See you in tomorrow's training session, where I'm doing straight arm scapular strength, working on planche and front lever, and leg strength as well for calisthenics.